it's Rickita. We're going to talk about the 8 things that you can do to help your credit score. This is Credit 101, episode 27. Now, last episode 26, we did the FICO estimator where we estimated what the credit score was going to be. Now, I kind of want to break down the different things that you can do to increase your credit scores. Now, if you guys do not know these different things, please write them down. Like, this is very, very important. If you just follow these things, you'll be good, okay? It's really very simple. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you correct any errors that's on your credit reports and make sure everything is complete. So if you guys have additional names, address that shouldn't be on there, correct those different things. Make sure you correct any collections, bankruptcies, all those different things you might need to get removed. If it's collection or bankruptcy, it needs to get removed from your credit report because that can help you increase your credit scores. You also want to make sure that you add positive new accounts to your credit reports. So if you guys do not have at least 4 credit cards, you guys need to work on adding those new positive accounts to your credit reports. Now, I recently, in the last estimator, we see that I applied for more credit cards. I applied for it with my credit group. We did it together. We all applied for credit cards. We was getting approved for credit cards. It was great. That's what we do. But I don't want to keep doing that, you guys, because if I keep doing that, we're going to have another problem that we're going to talk about later on. But you want to make sure that you have at least 4 of them. If you don't have 4, you're hurting yourself. You're not really building your credit. And then you also want to pay your bills on time. Now, for me, my biggest thing was late payments in the past. And if I couldn't pay the whole thing, I didn't even want to pay the minimum, which was bad. So what I do is I make sure that all of my credit cards are set up so that I can just pay the minimum. I still go back in because I have a spreadsheet where I know all of my credit cards due dates, the balances. I still go back in and say, okay, I need to pay the statement balances so I don't get charged any interest. But I make sure that automatically you're going to pay the minimum. Just in case something happened to me or something, I know my credit going to be good. But I still go back in there to make sure I pay the statement balance. And that would avoid a lot of things, you guys. So make sure you have the minimum payment set up on auto pay. And then make sure you guys pay down your debt. Having too much debt, you paying a lot of interest on that. You want to make sure that you're paying down your debt. Now, I'm technically been getting bit by, I wouldn't say getting bit by Dave Ramsey. I talk a lot about credit cards, but he helped me pay off my first vehicle within the 2 years, which is really good. I kind of stopped, but I'm back on it. I need to pay off my student loans. I need to do other things. That's what my goals are, you guys. So I don't want to keep debt around, and it's going to help your credit score in the end too. And it's going to make us you to have more credit available to you if you want to use it for businesses or whatever you want to do. So make sure you guys are paying down that debt. Another thing, you want to make sure you maintain at least 4 credit cards. Don't only just get these credit cards. You guys have to maintain them. Make sure that you're not closing them. You want these accounts to get old. In the estimator, they want to know what's the oldest account that you have because age is a big factor. That's why when people buy trade lines, they want to get old accounts. And trade lines, you guys, I think we talked about it before. We're going to definitely talk about it in the future if we haven't already. So definitely stick around. We're going to talk about those. And you want to make sure you keep your balance below 5%. So that's the rule that I follow, you guys. And also, you seen on there 0 to 9%. That was like the best one. So you guys want to make sure that you're following that and avoid any hard inquiries. Those hard inquiries are really going to hurt you. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding them and avoid new collections being added to your credit reports. If you guys get a letter in the mail saying, hey, we have a new account for you. If you don't respond, we're going to add this account to your credit reports. You want to make sure you respond right away because that new collection can really drop your credit score. I don't care if you're in the 800s. It's going to drop you down even more. The lower your credit score is, the less your credit score is going to go down. The higher your credit score is, the more your credit score can go down. So make sure you guys avoid these new collections. But if you guys do that, you guys will be good. Everything's set up on auto pay. You paying everything. You shouldn't have any collections or charge-offs or anything like that. You shouldn't be filing for bankruptcy because you're paying down your debt anyway. You don't really owe anything. We avoid so much by following these different steps. And this is something that I had to learn and something I had to implement. Episode 28, we're going to talk about the common errors in your credit reports. I don't want to waste any time, you guys. Let's dive right on into it. So the first set of errors is I want you guys to know that there could be errors in your names, address, socials, employers. So I want you guys to go ahead and get your credit reports, see those different errors on there. Once you see those different errors, make sure you call all 3 credit bureaus and tell them to remove it. If you guys are working to increase your credit score, you're fixing your credit, trying to delete accounts, you really need to remove this information anyway. The additional names and addresses, because those different things are tied to your account. So you want to make sure you remove those additional ones from your credit reports, and that's going to help you guys out. Also, you guys can have mixed accounts due to identity theft. So sometimes you can see accounts that's on there. You're like, what is this from? This is not mine. You guys need to get that removed. Also, you can contact the credit bureaus, and you also send out dispute letters. I used to have a free identity theft letter. I'm going to make that back available to you guys. So definitely check that out. I'm going to make sure I have it pinned somewhere, or I'm going to have it on my website, Rickita.com. Just search identity theft letter and you should be able to find it there. Another thing, you may have some of your ex-spouse information on your credit reports. Unless you got added as an authorized user or something like that, you shouldn't have it on your credit report. I don't care if you guys are currently married. If you guys did not get added as an authorized user on that person's credit reports, your spouse's credit reports, you guys should not have the information on your credit reports. So make sure you check that out. You guys may also have old accounts on your credit reports that's outdated. Make sure you guys get that stuff removed. Remember, certain accounts like collections can stay on there for 7.5 years, bankruptcies 10 years. So make sure you guys get those old accounts on there. The credit bureaus want them to stay on there forever because it's going to lower your credit score. And the lower the credit score is, the more they can charge for that credit report, okay? Now, incorrect payment histories and status can also be added. So if you guys see any inaccurate payment history and statuses, you got to make sure you add that. Some accounts I look and see, like, how are you late? Or how did it say you 30 days past due, but you don't have any late payments in your payment history? They need to update this because all of that is hurting your credit score. So definitely check that out. You can also see collection agencies re-aging your accounts. And re-aging your accounts is they have a certain amount of time that they can keep accounts in your credit reports. So what they're doing is they're adding more time onto it, making sure that these accounts are not, making sure that a report that these accounts are newer rather than older. So you'll see your last date of activity. Your last date of activity will be reported that month. And your last date of activity should be the first day that you became delinquent. And with collections, that should be on your charge off. That should be a date from your charge off. So your date open for collection should never be before their last date activity. Your last date activity should be an old date. It should be. If it's not, they're reaging that debt. Another thing, account may look like it's closed by the creditor, but you actually closed it. That's a big deal, you guys. So make sure you guys update this information. Let them know that, hey, no, I closed this. So that is something that you guys should look at. And then also, last but not least, you may see accounts that said that you're still late on it, you still owe money. Make sure that those accounts say that you paid it because it's hurting you. And a lot of times if you're applying for a mortgage, they're going to include certain debts into your debt to income ratio. So you want them to show that it's closed or that it's paid, and make sure that the balance is reported correctly on those credit cards so that your utilization can correctly reflect. Episode 29 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about discharged debts through bankruptcies and what can actually be reported. So if you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. So understand that you do not have to pay discharged debts that was included in your bankruptcy. So if those debts were discharged, you do not have to pay them. A lot of times creditors are not reporting the correct way on these debts, and you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to get a car, you're trying to get some credit cards, you think, let me just pay this, get this out the way. No, you guys, it is illegal for them to continue to try to get any money from you or even report these debts inaccurately. So please make sure you guys fight these companies if they're doing these different things that I'm going to talk to you all about in this episode. Now, make sure you guys make sure that all of the debts that you had, like the charge-off, collections, all of them says included in bankruptcy. You'll see these in like the different comments, but make sure all of the debt says included in bankruptcy. That way the creditors, when you apply for something, they'll know that that was included in the bankruptcy, and they cannot hold that against you as if you have to pay it or anything like that. And those that should have a $0 balance. Now, for those people that's different, like I filed for bankruptcy before, I had to get the thing removed. I don't want them to stay included in bankruptcy because when I get the bankruptcy removed, I want to easily be able to remove these accounts. But if I have a bankruptcy and I have all of these accounts that say included in bankruptcy, it's going to be harder to get that bankruptcy removed or even these accounts. So I want to make sure I attack that bankruptcy, and then I want to go back and fight these accounts. And I would like to fight all of the accounts just based off their reporting, but you want to get that bankruptcy removed first, really. And then once you got that bankruptcy removed, tell the creditors, hey, or the collectors that, hey, you don't have these as included in bankruptcy, and they're supposed to be included in bankruptcy. And then when they have that on there, then you can fight them an additional way. But call me. I can't really talk about too much of that here on how to really fight it this type of way because I just don't know I just don't want to say the wrong thing, you guys. But definitely it's a way that you want to do it. But if you guys are not thinking about, oh, I don't care about fighting bankruptcy, or yeah, you can stay on my credit report, just make sure it says including bankruptcy. So when you're applying for the house or car, they'll know that these are supposed to be at a $0 balance. And if it's not, then and they refuse to update it, then make sure you guys mail in those dispute letters to fix those errors. That's the biggest thing. You can also call the credit bureaus to fix errors, but I just find that it's best to mail it. And then also when you guys are mailing in these letters, let's see if I have one here. You want to make sure that you're sending in all your dispute letters certified. Like here's a certified receipt from a client where I sent in some dispute letters for them. So you can see I had sent this certified to the credit bureaus. You will see a stamp on when you actually mailed it. And this is who I mailed it to. I mailed it to Experian. But you want to make sure that you mail it in because you'll have a paper trail, because if they don't respond in a certain amount of time, you guys, they have to remove it. So I like to have a paper trail. Hey, you didn't respond in 30 days. You're supposed to respond in 30 days. Delete this from my credit reports immediately. I'm getting a lot of results from those letters. So I want you guys to make sure that you send it certified so that you can't even say that, okay? And then you can back it up just in case they refuse to remove it. Now, make sure you guys contact a bankruptcy lawyer or your bankruptcy lawyer if they're not reporting correctly, just to see if there's anything on their end that you can do instead of trying to find an FCRA attorney that I'm going to tell you guys about. So just try to see if you can reach out to your bankruptcy lawyer if they're not reporting it this way. And remember that you have FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws, and plus the bankruptcy laws are in your favor. They are against this bad reporting, because a lot of times creditors think that they're going to continue to report bad, or collectors also that they're going to continue to report bad. You're going to end up paying it, and it's like they're trying to punish you, and that's not right, you guys. So they have laws against these different things. Now understand too, with the laws, they have laws for the FCRA, which is federal. You also have state laws. I don't know if you guys heard, but I had to sue a collection agency because I was unable to remove an account, you guys. When I tell you I went through depression, I think it was last year. I could not remove this account. I got it removed for a lot of clients, but they would not remove it for me. And I'm thinking this is a sign. I need to sue them. I end up suing them and settling with them, you guys. So understand that you have federal laws and you have state laws. I quoted state and federal laws. So they end up removing it to federal court, which means that, hey, we're in state court at first, but hey, no, we're going to go to federal court. And I was so nervous, you guys. But I continue to do my paperwork and my research, and we end up settling, which is really good. But make sure you guys understand you have state laws. And if you want to, contact an attorney, I'm not giving you legal advice. I know that further on, when I go and sue other companies, I'm helping somebody else that's very, very close in my family to do this. We're only quoting state laws, because as soon as you quote federal laws, you guys, you're going to have to go to federal court. So it's better just to quote those state laws. But know that there are state laws that can help you with this also. And then reach out to an FCRA lawyer with additional questions. I can tell you guys about my experience if you guys want to know about it, but reach out to an FCRA lawyer if you have any additional questions on just the bankruptcy reporting or just any of your other accounts reporting. Now, the next episode, we're going to talk about your right to a accurate credit report and what actually can be reported, what can't be reported. So I'll see you guys there in episode 30.